Diana and I go back a long way. She's warm and friendly and emotional, supportive and affirming. Come with me. Visualize the following scenario. Imagine. Make it as real as you can. We're heading to the most beautiful meadow on a spectacular golden day. You may have visited here before or not, or you may know of a similar place. You may want to go there on your own or take a loved one with you. It matters not. What matters is that you can join me now, and you may visit here anytime again. Sense with all your senses. See the colors and the images. Hear the sounds and the smells and the aromas that you find here. Sit down on the bank and dip your toe into the cool, clear water and feel yourself there in this beautiful place. Over on the other side of the meadow, there's a lovely pond. In fact, it's a widening of a small river as it winds its way through the meadow. But the result is magnificent. It's picture perfect. An amazing example of nature at its best. Beside the pond, on a grassy hill, there's the most spectacular tree, and you recognize it in your own mind. What is it for you? Use your own imagery. My tree is a large maple with leaves, full of autumn leaves. That's the way it is in my imagination. And you know what your imagination sees. Wander over, sit down in the grass beside the pond. It's crystal clear, reflecting every light and shadow. The clear blue sky, soft, fluffy clouds, and the leaves on the tree, every one of them, so clearly defined and magnificent in color. And there you see your own reflection, your own face, in the reflection of the water. This is the kind of place that Diana spent a lot of her time in to heal. I remember at school, she was the one who everyone went to for consolation. She consoled everyone when we were feeling bad about those relationships we were all getting into. Everyone turned to Diana. There was always something maternal about her, even when she was a child and even into our teens. If she wasn't looking after people, she was looking after animals. And we kind of got the idea that she rescued way too many strays, both the 2- and 4-legged. You know the ones. That's how it felt sometimes. We knew Diana loved us, but at times it seemed like she needed us to feel bad in order for her to feel good. It's kind of like she believed in order to be loved, she had to meet the needs of everyone else, and the denial of her own needs was somehow rewarded. We saw less of Diana when she got involved with Jimmy. He seemed to have so much promise as a musician, and they connected deeply in so many ways. But making money didn't fit into that vision for Jimmy, and he let Diana look after him. And you know it too. You know it too. There are some people you're better off walking away from. Ultimately, she did, but not before she had a couple of kids and feeling pretty down and alone. You see, Diana allowed Jimmy to convince her that she was only valuable when she did things for other people and not for the person she was. And for what must have seemed a lifetime, she turned to food for comfort. It seemed as if the void could only be filled by eating. Diana's weight ballooned when she and Jimmy were together, and even more after they separated. I saw less of her at this point. She began working with kids because in her map of the world, children couldn't hurt like adults could. It seemed to me that the more I got my own life in order, the less she wanted anything to do with me. That's how it felt anyway. We didn't see each other for 3 or more years. Then one day I ran into Diana out of the blue. She'd lost a heap of weight, and the Earth Mother look had been ditched for something a little more contemporary. She looked amazing. We went for a coffee and a catch-up. It was so good to be with her again after such a long time. She told me what had happened to her, for her, after she dumped all those no-hopers, those wannabe artists. There seemed so many, she said. I took a long, hard look at myself and realized I wasn't the person I wanted to be. I came to understand that there's a time in life when all of a sudden it makes sense. Where if you keep doing the things you've always done, then you're going to hit the wall. That's what happened with Diana. She kept on giving and told herself that she was receiving nothing back. It hadn't even occurred to her that she needed to nurture herself, to value herself, as she did with other people in her life. I saw that I was manipulating the people in my life, she said. That's how she put it. It's how Diana put it. I'd offer them all kinds of support with the expectation that they'd do the same for me. But I never made that deal explicit, least of all to myself. And then, when I needed help and didn't get it, I'd take it out on the people around me in devious ways. And you know the truth? When you're seen as a resourceful one, people don't always stop to think that you need support too. So things changed for Diana when she started putting her own needs first. It changed her relationship with her kids. It changed her with her parents. It changed things with everyone in her life. And for that, she's eternally grateful. Diana is still one of the most caring people I've ever met, filled with compassion and empathy. She's working with homeless people now, and those qualities are invaluable. And so too is her ability to set boundaries with people she's supporting, ensuring they don't exploit her or the systems at place where she manages. She now exercises or swims almost every day, tells me she loves her yoga and she meditates regularly. But taking care of herself physically, she meets her needs in other ways too. So looking at that reflection in the pond, what she sees looking back at her has changed in some magical way. She explains it like this. Imagine, just as you were enjoying these lovely reflections, a sudden gust of wind comes along, and before you know it, the surface of the pond has been covered with leaves that have blown from the trees. All the reflections have gone, obscured by the leaves. You watch the leaves floating on the surface, and in a few minutes you realize that they're moving, gently propelled by the little current in the river. Some of them just seem to be swirling slowly, aimlessly about, and some of them have begun to drift to the edge of the pond, coming to rest under little overhangs along the bank. And some are drifting gently but purposefully towards the end of the pond, where it again becomes a river. And these leaves soon drift right out of sight. The leaves that have come close to the bank settle into their safe harbors. You could touch them if you were to reach out. It occurs to her that she could use those leaves as little boats, tiny cargo boats, in fact. You could put some small cargo on each leaf and let the current take it somewhere else. And then she realizes that the cargo could be many, she said. All the little worries you've been carrying around, all the small burdens. Or it could be that you could put the heavier burden on several leaves. Explore those possibilities. Onto each leaf, place some small cargo, letting the leaves carry away the burdens you've been carrying. And all the little people and creatures in the water are safe. Soon those cares, worries, concerns are also carried by the current. Some drifting to the edge of the pond where you could scoop them out again if you wanted to. Some going on down the river, out of sight. And just a few swirling lazily on the surface until they too are carried away downstream or to the bank of the pond. As soon as you can begin to realize something else, as the leaves with their burdens are moving with the currents, so the surface of the pond begins to clear. And soon, once more, you begin to see reflections of the sky and the trees and your own face. And all the children and their nature friends are playing and laughing and are free to be. It wasn't long after that she met and started seeing someone special in her life, someone who's really successful in their own world, in their own careers, and respects that Diana is tired when she comes home from work, needing time to herself. Her relationship with her eldest son is now stronger than it ever has been, and he understands her. He manages the others while she's at work. The chores are done according to the roster, so dinner is prepared and waiting for her when she gets home. And that's because new rules were set. Rules that everyone understands, and most importantly, meet her needs. Rather than expecting everyone to read her mind and magically do what was needed. Diana and I see each other from time to time, and it feels healthy now. She doesn't automatically offer help if in a conversation you mention you've had a bad day. And something else wonderful has happened too. If she feels she could do with some advice, she'll ask for it. It's so easy. She wonders why she didn't do it sooner. She's getting on better with her partner too, because there are less expectations on both sides of the fence. And they seem so happy together. It's easy to see they both love their new way of life. I trust you've enjoyed Diana's story, and know that you can visit here anytime. If you're ready to start learning how to master your own emotions, perceptions, and internal processing, then join us in the upcoming Personal Power, Passion, and Purpose event. It's self-development in its highest form, exploring a whole new world at a different dimension. And you'll learn how archetypes and the Enneagram represent the different ways we think, act, and understand our world. So go ahead, connect with me. Join us for the sneak preview of Personal Power, Passion, and Purpose. Come along to the one-day event. Make your booking online at dashboardoflife.com.au or call me, Evelyn, 0418 403 227. I look forward to seeing you again real soon. Until then.